Good evening. We're here today. It's October 2nd, and we're at the City Council meeting, and go for it, Gina.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Happy October. Please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you all for coming. And we're going to start with the proclamation, which is the Fire Prevention Month. Here's the proclamation. First of all, I have to say I love our fire department, and you guys do a great job, and the volunteer firefighters are particularly fun. Okay. Fire Prevention Month. Whereas the city of Moscow, Idaho is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Moscow. And whereas U.S. fire departments respond to an average of 400,000 home fires a year, according to the National Fire Prevention Association. And whereas U.S. home fires result in an average of 2,600 civilian deaths a year, representing the majority, 75% of all U.S. fire deaths. Whereas newer homes are built with lightweight materials that burn faster than old homes construction. And whereas many of today's products are furnishing produce toxic gases. Try that again. Many of today's products and furnishings produce toxic gases and smoke when burned, making it impossible to see and breathe within moments. And whereas these conditions contribute to a much smaller window of time for people to escape a home fire safely, when people having as small as 1 to 2 minutes to escape from the time the smoke alarms sound. Whereas Moscow's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and prevention education. And whereas Moscow residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to make personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2023 National Fire Prevention Week will be observed from Sunday, October 8th through Saturday, October 14th, 2023, with the theme, Cooking Safety Starts with You. Pay attention to fire protections effectively serves to educate the public about the virtual importance of educating everyone about cooking safely. Now, therefore, I, Maureen Laughlin, on behalf of Art Becky, Mayor of the City of Moscow, do hereby proclaim October as Fire Prevention Month throughout the community and urge all citizens of Moscow to learn the keys to kitchen fire safety. So step on up here. We're going to have a little.
I say we just don't cook.
I'm
That's it. I'm happy. I just won't cook, Chief. We're not gonna cook.
I think it's timely with the bonfire for homecoming being at the very end of it, but bonfire isn't
right.
related, so.
It's homecoming this week.
Starts on Sunday. And then homecoming game will be on the 15th. I have so many fond memories of Huck and Pallets there. If anything, it's fun for the peers of the volunteer firefighters to have a chance to see their friends. And
Yeah, give us some words of wisdom besides don't cook.
I'm not sure about wisdom. No, thank you for recognizing the fire department and all that we do, because we do a lot. Prevention is important. We did have a big event. Kind of came up last minute out at the fair. We handed out all the smoke detectors that we actually have for campers. Because one of our employees, one of his friends, was killed just within the last 30 days in a camper fire from back where he's from. So it just kind of goes to show that even a camper or a house, it doesn't matter. As long as you have the protection, then make sure you heed the warning and get out and do the best you can. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Careful about cooking there, Sandra. But we really want to thank you a lot. When I came here, I was surprised at how well the volunteer fire department works and how well the whole fire department in Moscow runs very efficiently. And we all appreciate that a lot. Thank you. And I learned a lot just reading the proclamation.
Thanks, Chief.
Steve.
Okay. Consent agenda.
Your Honor, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay, it's done.
Call for vote.
Okay, let's go for a vote. I'm on it. I'm on it. Okay, the mayor for the day. Here we go. Haley, we're going to just go up and down the line. I don't forget anybody.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Gina?
Aye.
Maureen, aye. Okay. Now we're on to the regular agenda. Mayor's appointments, there are none. Public comment? Anybody want to say anything? You got 3 minutes, limit of 15 to everybody who wants to get up here and talk. So, okay, don't run up here too fast. Okay. Come on, Brandy, you don't have anything to say to us? Okay, citizen commission report, there is not one today.
Wow, really?
Right.
Just be happy.
Too bad.
I know. Okay, so proposed repeal of Moscow City Code, Chapter 10, Title 5. It's an action item, and we will hear from Bill Belnoff.
Thank you. So this item before you this evening is a consideration of an ordinance. Staff is really constantly monitoring both legislative actions as well as judicial decisions that may impact the city's operations. There was a recent Idaho Supreme Court case that involved the city of Lewiston that was decided on July 10th of this year that resulted in a review of our internal practices. In that review, staff identified that it was unclear whether the city has clear legal authority to charge the current streetlight utility fee that was established back in 1988. Our research revealed that several cities had ceased collection of streetlight fees after having their fees challenged over the last 5 to 10 years. There really are only a handful of cities of Idaho that do continue to collect it. Those include Coeur d'Alene, Plummer, Grangeville, and a few others, but very few do. Staff believes that it would be prudent to cease the collection of these fees until there is clear legislative or judicial actions to provide our authority to charge those fees. So we have prepared an ordinance that would repeal Chapter 10 of Title 5, which is the section of city code that established the fee back in 1988. Upon passage of the proposed ordinance, the city would then cease collecting the street fee for this fiscal year beginning October 1st, which would be billed in November. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Any questions?
I don't have any at this time.
Sandra?
Not a question. I just, I'm glad that we're at the spot. I know that we've been going through this for 3 weeks now, and it's nice to have this in front of us so we can take care of it. So I appreciate that.
And I think as we've said before, I also think that it's really important that the city took such proactive measures as soon as that decision came down and didn't wait. So any other comments?
Nope.
Sandra?
That's not a comment. I was going to move.
You got it.
The only comment I was going to add, if it's all right, was that I'm happy to work with Mayor Bedke on this through the Idaho Association of Cities if if the staff is looking for additional clarification. But I think this is the right move, and thanks for your playing it at due
She's
diligence.
sick.
I'm sick.
Due
It's-
diligence.
Due diligence are the words.
Gotcha.
Thank you for
Go
that.
it, Sandra.
I do believe our legal counsel is probably working with legal counsel to other cities on this as well, but we always appreciate counsel jumping in and helping. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance repealing Chapter 10, Title 5 of Moscow City Code under suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and then it be read by title and published by summary.
Second.
Let's vote. Drew?
Aye.
Gina?
Aye.
Sandra?
Aye.
Haley?
Aye.
And I, Maureen? Aye. Okay, let me just read it.
Yep. I'll read the title. So this would be ordinance 2020.
Ordinance, what number is my number? 8. Okay. Okay, ordinance number 2023-8, an ordinance of the City of Moscow, Idaho, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for the repeal of Moscow City Code Title 5, Chapter 10, public lighting, providing that the provisions of this ordinance be deemed severable, and providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from the date of its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
Is it chapter 10, title 5, or is it
Title
It's
5,
chapter 10, title,
five?
chapter 10, title 5.
Chapter 10, Title
But I-
5.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so you
just
flipped,
read-
it was flipped in the writing there. Okay, good.
I just read it as it was.
And I just am making sure that,
Nope.
Okay.
Appreciate the check.
Thank you all. Anything else?
Just on to the next
Okay, we're
item.
moving on to the next one then. Proposed amendment to the fiscal year 2024 fee resolution. Bill Belknap, round 2.
Thank you. So this is just a follow-up to that action. So this is amending the FY24 fee resolution that becomes effective October 1st this year for the FY24 fiscal year. So there are 2 modifications in the fee resolution. The first is to eliminate the streetlight fee based on the council's action to repeal Chapter 10 of Title 5. The second is we did review our allocation model results of the Lewitton case. We identified that we'd be doing some slightly reduced transfers from the sanitation fund to the general fund. As a result, we can defer some fee increases that have been forecasted in FY24. So essentially we had the roll carts were going up 4.95%. Commercial mechanical containers were going to go down a little over 3.35%. So we will be holding roll carts constant and mechanical containers will go down roughly that 8.5% to get the equity of the cost of delivery of the service as indicated by the rate study. So really this update will just modify the fee resolution to make those 2 changes.
Any questions? Gina?
it's not a question, but I think removing a fee and reducing a cost for, what'd you say, roll carts is a very good thing.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Any other comments? Sandra?
Nope, no comments.
I'll move.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yep.
I move that we approve the proposed resolution.
Second.
Haley? Aye. Sandra?
Aye.
Gina?
Aye.
Aye.
Maureen? Aye. Thank you, Bill. Okay, let's go. Now we're looking for reports. Anybody have reports? I'm going to start with
Reports?
Yeah,
I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
City Council report.
Yeah. So for my reports for the last 2 weeks, actually both of the commissions that I oversee, they were I'm a liaison to. They were both canceled. So not a lot of work in that area, but I know the folks are working pretty hard there, even though we're not meeting. Other than that, did some volunteer work with the city this Saturday, helping the farmers market, doing numbers and helping collect that data, which is really important. And it was actually really enjoyable too. And then helped with Family Promise, a really great organization in town that helps solve some of our poverty problems here on the Palouse. So that's all I have at this time.
Thanks. Gina?
Okay, the last 2 weeks, historic preservation was canceled due to a lack of a forum, and tomorrow my tree commission is not going to meet. So I'm pretty thinking the rest of my week is just going to be terrible. But
This is the
the
highlight.
tree commission is always the highlight. I did go to planning and zoning, however, and they had just a really interesting and a lot of, so it was an interesting public hearing with a lot of public involvement. Proposing a replat of some land out north of Moscow. And it was just a really good discussion. People were really, we had differing opinions, but really respectful. I was happy with that. But other than that, they're a hardworking group, but it was a pretty quick meeting.
Sandra?
I had the PBAC planning meeting, I think it was last Thursday. And it looks like we're finally, nothing is set in stone, but they're actually making some headway on looking forward and trying to figure out fees and who to talk to and on at least one of the plans, and other plans could fall into it. I know there'll be more on that later, but it's nice to be headed in a direction where you're not just saying, maybe we should do this. So it looks like we're trying to move forward very slowly, but it's forward, which is great. I did not have your air fire yet. I can't remember if this fell before last time we met or not, but went on the Pathways Walk which was fun.
Oh,
And I think Drew caught the end of it. I caught the beginning and Drew caught the end. We like
True.
tag teamed, right? Because we had a lot of events going on that night. But it was fun. We walked around the University of Idaho. I got to give an impromptu lesson on pickleball. I did not play, but I could explain what it was. And so that was fun. Let's see. I also did the farmers market clicker count, and it was really fun. It was I love the farmers market, but sometimes if you don't know what to do, you're just like there and you go. But I had a job, so I had to stay the whole time, and it was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And then the usually not something to celebrate, but I'm highlighting this because of the volunteer efforts. The Universal Unitarians dedicated their church, and I know Art spoke at that. In the morning, and I went to the volunteer celebration dance banquet in the evening, which was a lot of fun. So I just thought I wanted to highlight that. And for the nonprofits out there, since I mentioned the nonprofits, tomorrow is the last day to apply for the Alternative Giving Market of the Palouse. So if you're a nonprofit out there or listening in the ether world, still a chance to sign up, but it's due tomorrow. I think that's all I have.
Haley.
Yeah, you guys covered for me on the walking tour because the
It was
last
fun,
time
thanks.
thank you so much for helping make sure we had some council presence there because it was a very busy week for me at work, which meant that I was able to catch the tail end of the educator welcome that the College of Education and the Moscow Chamber hosted for all of our new teachers in the school district, which was really cool. And then work meant I know Moscow Chamber had a great luncheon with Gritman, hearing the wellness update with the community, and the Restorative Justice Forum put on by the Human Rights Commission was on Wednesday, the 20th. And I need to ask, I'm hoping that there was, if not a recording of it, if there's someone who's able to kind of, I don't know, give us a small summary in a newsletter or something. And then,
Ken often does that, so that maybe the person you want to reach
yeah.
out
And
to.
so I should find out if Ken wants to give us a little roundup. And that I also know he wasn't able to go because he had school board duties. So all of these folks who are more than one hat, it's always kind of a juggling match. And then Smart Transit was that same week. We had a great strategic planning committee meeting and talking about what the hopes and dreams are for the organization in the next 5 to 10 years, working with Andy to make sure that she's got what she needs to, be empowered to make decisions for the organization and feel supported by the board, which has been a lot of fun. Went to the Friends of the Library book sale, which is like one of 2
missed it.
favorite days of the year for me. It'll be again in the spring. Highly recommend. Usually like the second or third Saturday in March, but it's always a screaming deal. Or if you have books you want to get rid of, donate to them. It funds their summer reading program, which is one of my favorite things they do. Because I grew up participating in it, and they even have adult options too. I saw Mr. Mayor and I both attended a reception for the Bora Symposium last week. And we were able to briefly visit with Governor Kempthorne, which was really cool. He hosted our keynote address on the Wednesday night, but it's another one of my all-time favorites for U of I. I'm clearly biased because it's put on by the Martin Institute, which is what houses my program at U of I that I'm an alum of. But it's incredible. And it's, any visitors who come and give those speeches are always impressed with what our town can accomplish. And I never forget that, but it's always fun hearing that observation from someone outside of our community member. And I think that's what I got. So.
Can I add something to
Yes.
Haley's thing? Part of the chamber luncheon was a celebration for Kara Best,
Oh yeah.
30 years at Gritman.
I love that.
Seeing as how she's 42, she started there really early.
Homegrown.
I think she'll
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yeah, congratulations, Kara.
I love
So,
that.
I went to the Sustainable Environmental Commission, and Paul Kimball, the big highlight of it was Paul Kimball came and gave a presentation. It was phenomenal. I have the materials if anybody wants to see them or look at them, but I'm going to give you what I perceive to be the highlights. And it was a whole thing on efforts regarding climate change. So little tidbits. 59% of the energy from Avista was clean energy, and which basically renewable energy. Avista's rate are among the lowest in the country. They have a whole chart on that. Their greenhouse gas is also among the lowest in the country. Their clean energy goals. Oh yeah, that was really important. But I'm saying that they put out a thing in terms of the clean energy goals and the state comparisons, and Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And I will say that Idaho was the only state of those three that it did not have any goals. And then there's another sheet that talks about the success that they've had so far in meeting those goals. And again, it was blank for Idaho. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in talking about what they're doing, and I think it was great to have that. We also there's always those questions people are interested about energy grants and how do you get those, and there's material on that too. Weekly federal energy grants, and this is the newsletter with respect to that. If you want any of those, you can make a copy of mine. And they were interesting to talk about, just to get the Avista's goal. It's 100% clean energy by 2045 and carbon neutral supply of electricity by the end of 2027. So it's they're really moving on it, but they have to put a lot of their focus on Washington because they have pretty strict goals. And yeah. So there we go. That's all I have.
Maureen, I had one thing I wanted to add.
Go for it.
Before I forget, I have to make a plug in my role on the Moscow Chamber Board that Moscoberfest, the downtown business alliances event, is on Saturday the 7th. It's free. It's family friendly. There's a lot of fun activities. I'm out of town for a wedding, but if they will always take volunteers, and if you want to just be social and enjoy what should be good weather, I
Can you tell
want
the
to say
times
it's
of it?
for I think 4 to 8 is what I know. It's different than the winter one, so I'm 90% sure that it's 4 to 8. Free downtown.
I also have something.
Yeah.
While we're talking about the chamber, they just had their grand opening for
Yeah.
their new lobby and their whole space, which I attended. Also, Sandra was there too. It's a great. It's great work done by U of I students in the architecture program, which is obviously near and dear to my heart. So,
So one architect commenting and complimenting another set of architects.
It's
Thank you.
really cool.
Students.
It
It's
is
really
a very
cool.
cool space. Stop by on their Saturday or weekday hours when the office
Yep.
is open. And
Recommend
they have
stopping
merch.
by.
It's great.
it's great.
Any other?
I think that's it.
Okay, the mayor has none. And anything for this city?
Just one reminder, we do have the University County School District Breakfast meeting on Wednesday this week, 9 a.m. at the Wallace Complex.
Is 7 o'clock?
7 a.m.
Hey, and we're all,
I said, I'm sorry, did I say 9?
Yes, you did.
7 a.m.
we were all
I'm sorry.
celebrating.
I'm sorry.
All pretty excited,
I'm sorry. 7 a.m.
Sorry.
Call it Joe's Cafe or.
Okay,
Love it.
please note it's 7:22 and we are done unless somebody else has something else to say. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
You made it.
Made it. I'm going.
Made it.